Hello, and welcome to the fifth part of Introduction to Destination Marketing. Now we're going to look a little bit closer into the negative impacts of tourism and destination marketing. So one of the goals of a DMO should be to alleviate the negative impacts of tourism. And for that purpose, it is paramount to understand what are those. First of all, there is a possibility that tourism creates dislike of strangers and xenophobia. For example, with this over-tourism phenomenon, we are seeing those graffitis, tourists go home, and the locals really disliking the fact that there are so many tourists and strangers in their cities and destinations. There are also other changes in the destination that the tourism can cause. For example, Amsterdam, with its marketing for bachelor parties, for example, is changing the way the city is structured. There are also other negative social and cultural impacts, such as, for example, if we look at the city centers of almost all the major cities in the world, there are the same kind of shops, the same Starbucks, the same kind of tourism infrastructure. The local traditions and customs can be even forgotten when destinations are reaching and trying to attract new tourists, even though the trend is going in that way that the local things and the real things are the ones that tourists start care about the most. There's also economic damage that the tourism creates. For example, just the single-sidedness of a destination in economic wise. Some economies can be heavily dependent on tourism, which can be problematic for them, not to mention all the damage tourism causes for the nature, for the attractions, for the city infrastructure that needs to be catered for. Then there's, of course, the negative environmental damage tourism brings. It's not just that tourism is a major source of global CO2 emissions, but also negative impacts. For example, in trashes, where do all the trash that tourism creates go to? What is happening? Is there a recycling plan in place to make sure that the tourism does not have that much negative environmental impacts? And then tourism has also been thought of as a new form of colonialism or external control that can even be worse than what previously was. So there are many different things that tourism causes. It's not just positive things, but also these negative impacts, and they need to be carefully managed and monitored. So the destinations have less and less room to endure these negative impacts. They have to be dealt with before they become visible and negative for the tourism destination.